All right, I told you last night I was going to address this video on the Rasheed Wallace video I did. So let's talk about, this myth, and let's bust it that if the Lions are sold, they will relocate Detroit to another city. Let's talk about it. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. Appreciate the love, support. And what people got to understand, teams that usually relocate either have an issue with the city they're in about building a stadium or a facility or whatever situation may be, like the Oakland Raiders, or they having financial issues where they don't sell tickets, or they have a lot of blackouts. And blackouts happen, and what a blackout is first is when your team is playing but the network isn't showing the game because enough fans didn't buy tickets to the game, so you can't watch the TV in your local market. We don't really have those issues in Detroit, okay? So if somebody did come and purchase the Detroit Lions, they would not move them because they are already in a fruitful market. Like somebody said in the comment section, we went live a couple weeks ago, Detroit is a football town, okay? If the Tigers ain't doing well, other than opening day, ain't nobody coming. If the Pistons ain't doing good, opening day, last day, middle day, half a day, ain't nobody really coming. We can establish that. The Tigers and the Lions, the city of Detroit, those are a prominent teams. No matter how bad the Lions are doing, people gonna come. And for what I understand, no matter how bad the Wings are doing, people gonna continue to come. So when you talk about relocating, that's the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's the Los Angeles Chargers. Those are teams that struggle to sell tickets, that struggle with blackouts. And, the Detroit Lions don't have that issue. The Lions sell great. They don't have a jersey apparel issue. And you would think that they don't sell, that they don't win, they wouldn't sell. But that's not the case. They are the lovable losers of the National Football League. So when people say, "Oh, I'm afraid that they might sell it," who started that ignorant narrative? Like, you really got people out here, and these are young people. You could tell these are young fans, and it's a lot of Lion fans or people that have platforms that's not really Lion fans. And people really don't even know where to begin. And I could really expose a lot of shit going on, but I'll let them have it because I just don't care about it that much. But it's a lot of people that claim to be Lion fans that's not Lion fans at all. They don't know nothing about the history. They got multiple teams that they cover. Look here, I only like one football team, religiously, that's the Lions. Basketball is really the Pistons, but I grew up liking Magic, but because he's from East Lansing and all that. But hockey, it's only the Wings. Baseball, I like the Tigers, but I'm not married to them. I like a few other teams, not like that, but really don't watch baseball like I used to. Growing up, the Yankees was the dominant team, and my family are from the Bronx, so I kind of grew up watching the Yankees as well. But when it comes to football and basketball, it's pretty much the Lions and the Pistons. That's it, But to carry on, whoever started that narrative is crazy because it's people truly defending the ownership of the Fords. And those are people that's been born, I'm probably say 95, 93, I'm going to say 95 and on up. The ones that's been born through the 70s, the 80s, the 60s, the 50s, they understand that the Fords, are the issue. They do. It's people saying, the ownership isn't the problem. Look at the Pistons. The Pistons got a new owner, not because the owner wasn't working. The owner died. He told the wife not to sell the team. She sold the team. So that's a totally different situation. It's a proven fact since the Fords took over, the Detroit Lions, I believe in 1957, they have done absolutely nothing but tank. The Lions were a proud franchise with multiple NFL championships. They got rid of Bobby Lane, who's from Highland Park, Texas, just as Matthew Stafford is. And he put a curse. He said, "Y'all never win nothing else without me." After they got rid of a winning football player. Ever since then, the Lions have been the laughingstock of the league. The Fords, just look at historically how they treated Barry Sanders, the most prominent player in their franchise. They recouped money from him because he retired because, he wanted to go elsewhere. But he gave you everything he wanted. He got tired of losing. Come on. The next year, I believe, after he retired, they made the playoffs, but they didn't win nothing. So you go on. They did the same thing to Calvin Johnson. Couldn't resign Ndamukong Suh. So, like I said before, the Fords, people say, well, I don't get why people don't like the Fords. People that grew up watching it, they never could put a full team together. They kept, just listen to this. They tried Matt Millen, right? It wasn't working. Bill Parcells offered to run the team. Okay? They said, no, we're going to stick with Matt Millen. Even Matt Millen down the line, before he had the heart transplant, he admitted to Peter Quinn, that's I didn't know I was doing. Right? He said, I wanted to take like Andre Johnson or DeMarcus Ware. You know, my team talked me out of it, which was Mayhew and LeWine. Pay attention to that. I made some bad decisions. The Lions go 0-16. The Fords give a promotion instead of cleaning house to Martin Mayhew and Tom LeWine. So after going 0-16, they promote within. Also think about this: a lot of the money, like you wanted to retain Ndamukong Suh, the Fords didn't want to spend the money to retain Ndamukong Suh. They don't take care of their veteran players. We hear that from Calvin. We hear that from people around the league. All that got to do with them. They hired Rob Melinelli. They hired Steve Mariucci. The Fords just, they just not gonna put a complete team together. And a lot of people have, said they wasn't gonna be fans of the Lions until the Fords have been sold. It's been a lot of Lion fans throughout the history that have switched to Pittsburgh, Bear fans, Cowboy fans, because they understand that the Fords won't put nothing together. And you got to remember, the history of the Fords is hella racist. A lot of people don't know that. Talking about, forcing the boycott and Jerry Jones being racist, you got a lot of other racist owners, Stephen Ross with the Dolphins. The Lions owners, read at what the Fords did back in the day at that Dearborn plant. Hiring mobsters to beat up picketers, paying minorities like blacks significantly less, not giving them a full break, going to the bathroom with them to make sure they wasn't playing hooky, giving the blacks and other minorities the tougher jobs, paying whites more, giving them longer and better breaks. I mean, you can go on and on. People talking about Aunt Jemima, the Washington Redskins. I mean, you can go on with all these changes that's coming. But if they start looking into some of the backgrounds of some of these NFL owners, some of these owners might be forced to sell like Donald Sterling, but the media is not going to go that far. And that's their family history. It's built on bigotry. But with this narrative, with people trying to defend the Fords, those got to be young and dumb Lion fans. The real true Lion fans know that as long as the Fords in the way, it's nothing gonna change. Now we hope, like we optimistic because we got another issue. I think we got another choice. Excuse me. We optimistic that Sheila might turn the corner. Seem like saying Kaepernick and just want to sign Kaepernick might be changing turn the corner. We know Martha told the team not to kneel, but Jalen Reeves-Maybin did kneel and a few other people did kneel. They don't want to hire nobody that got a criminal background. It's just like running a corporate business. They run the football team the wrong way. They didn't even know how to run the Ford factory. They put William Ford out the factory because he kept getting in the way. That's how you end up with the Detroit Lions football team, because William Clay Ford was fucking shit up at the factory and messing business up, so they gave him the Lions to stay out the factory business so they could run it. These people don't understand. But hopefully Sheila's different. And if she is different, she understands that she's only as good as her team around her. She get rid of Rod Wood or let him handle the finances and bring somebody in that can be a senior advisor to her and show her how to build a football team. Then we might be talking a different language. But for people with this narrative that, if they sell the Lions sell, they're going to move them out of Detroit. Where are they going to move them to? Who want the Lions? It was to the point where the Raiders wanted to move to San Antonio. Let me tell you this story before we get off. The Raiders wanted to move to San Antonio. Okay? What you got to understand between the Raiders and the Cowboys, Al Davis is the one that mentored Jerry Jones, right? The Raider brand is one of the few brands that can rival the Dallas Cowboys. Okay? So look the story up. The Raiders wanted to relocate to San Antonio years ago. Excuse me. They wanted to relocate. Jerry Jones did everything in his power to stop the Raider brand from relocating to San Antonio. You want to know why? Because he knew the Raider brand could take away from the Cowboy brand in the pulling power in Texas. Raider fans are just as powerful, especially when they're winning, as Cowboy fans, and it would have divided the state of Great Texas. See, he never was concerned about the Oilers. He wasn't concerned about the Texans coming back. He wasn't. Only teams he really cared about was the Raider brand is very, very powerful, and the Steeler brand. Those are two brands. New England has put themselves in that conversation. They was going to go to San Antonio and give the great state of Texas 3 NFL teams. Jerry Jones fought in his power. I say that to say this. You think Jerry Jones would care if the Lions moved to San Antonio? No. The Chargers and the Jaguars are being threatened to move to London before this pandemic started. Now, it might not happen, but it's been talks about moving a team to London, especially when the Chargers didn't pay their half of the stadium that's being built in L.A. So if the Lions did relocate, it probably wouldn't be to another market. Not an American market. It might go to Mexico City. They might relocate somewhere to Canada. They might relocate to London. But I say that to say this. The situation is not that dire in Detroit. Had it been like what Jacksonville going through, and had it been what the Chargers have went through, not being able to have a fan base, the opposing teams filling up the stadium, and them not having no fans there, then you talk about it. But if they don't relocate the Jaguars and Chargers, there's no chance that the Lions relocate unless something bad happened. Unless people just stop showing up to the game and every game is blacked out. And it hasn't gotten that bad. So the narrative that the Lions get a new owner and they gonna move them, that's false. I don't know who started that dumb narrative. Like, I'm telling you, the grade of, it's only a small few knowledgeable Lion fans that actually go back and do their history or live through it or know their history. That's why I don't really listen to a lot of channels. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm put to you this way, when I listen to a channel, I want to be able to grow, get some knowledge, and also you want to be entertained. There's very, very few Lions channels or Detroit-based sports channels that do that. It's either all optimist, all hopeful, no knowledge, no football knowledge, no IQ. It's all smoke and mirrors. They talk. It's like a musician. It's all flash in the pan. It's all deception. It look good while it's moving. It look good while it's sparkling. You know what I'm saying? But why they doing this? They really doing something. They really trying to pull a trick under your eyes. So you got to pay attention. It's not a lot of knowledgeable guys out there. It's not a lot of straight shooters out there. It's a bunch of optimists. It's a bunch of, I really don't know the sport about football. We're going to talk more about the business side of it. Like, it's not, when you watch a channel, you want to be able to grow, be informative, be entertained, obviously. But it's a lot of dudes out here that don't know shit about football. So it is what it is. So I hate who started that dumbass narrative. And you got to be an idiot to defend the Fords as owners. Now, we can't say that about Sheila. We got to give Sheila her shot. But the old hag, Martha, and her old man was, I just told you a tip of the iceberg of how stupid he was as a football coach. But hey, let me know what you guys think, man. Don't forget me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out if you got business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video requests. Keep sharing the videos. Want to make a donation to the channel? Cash App, PayPal, description. Best way to donate is share the video. So please don't make yourself look stupid when you go out here on the internet and say, oh, if we sell the team, they're going to move the team. It's stupid. The Lions are too fruitful. They too plentiful. They make too much money. They sell too much merch. They sell too many tickets. They don't have blackout games. No way, Jose. Straight up and down. That's one of the reasons why Cleveland got a team again. Because Cleveland, the original Cleveland Browns are the Baltimore Ravens. They team moved to Baltimore. Okay? They gave them a team again because they know that was wrong. And they got a really, really, really strong fan base in Cleveland. It's easy to be a fan when your team has a history of Dallas, Pittsburgh, the Raiders, now in Las Vegas, the Giants, New England now. They put together a strong run. It's easy to have a strong fan base. You know what I'm saying? But when you lose it and you retain fans, Cleveland and Detroit got some of the best fans ever. If we up, the fans up. If we down, the fans still up. So we got the best fan bases. Don't buy into that Laker, Boston. That's propaganda in New England and Pittsburgh and Dallas and Raiders and the Packers. That's because the NFL always makes sure they got winning teams and they're relevant. Now, New England, we're going to see if it was a blip or they're going to be one of the legendary teams. But that's, the true greatest fan bases as far as football is in Detroit and Cleveland. Shout out to everybody, man. Appreciate it. We gone.